You dog.
Alright, hi everyone. So today I wanted to talk about grooming. So many people have asked me about what I did to get Aspen used to grooming. And I think it's a really important thing. It's something that has to be done really early on. So I made kind of a 4-week little course, I guess you could call it, for puppies and new dog owners to follow so that their puppy will be used to grooming. Alright, so the first thing when you bring a puppy home, you might not necessarily be thinking a lot about what you can do to get them used to grooming, but there's a lot of things that you can do, and they're little things. They don't take very much time, and it's going to make your life so much easier later on. So these are the things that you can do for your dog at 8 weeks of age, right when you take them home, their first week home. Here we are. Your puppy has just gotten home and you are trying to figure out what you should do. Number one is to handle their feet, gums, and ears. You also want to introduce grooming tools. Place them in the bathtub and introduce new sounds. So I'm going to go over all of this with you guys, just make it a bit more interesting. So the first thing is handle their feet. Make sure that you flip them over on their back. You can have them on your lap and just play with their feet. Play with the little hairs between their pads of their feet. Play with, separating each of the toes. You also want to play with their gums. Just make sure that they're comfortable with you lifting up their gum on each side. And you also want to handle their ears a lot. Make sure that they're okay with you touching their ears. That's going to be so helpful for you later on when you're having to trim the pads of your dog's feet as well as the top of your dog's feet and cleaning their ears and brushing their teeth. So that doesn't take very much time. You could do that for, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and just, switch between their feet, their ears, and their gums, and you're done for the day. It takes literally no time, and it'll save you a lot of time later on in life. The next thing is introduce them to grooming tools. You want to get your grooming tools before you get your puppy, just so that you have them around and your puppy can kind of grow up around them. So examples of this, of course, would be things like the nail clipper and a brush and a moser. This is what I call a moser. A shaver, a clipper, whatever you want to call it. But you just want to have these things around. Just give them to your puppy, let them sniff them. You don't have to use them on your puppy yet, but let them know what they are, that they're not scary things. So that would be the next thing to do with an 8-week-old puppy. The one thing that is really going to help you out too is if you get them used to the bathtub. Now, I don't mean, having a bathtub full of water and throwing your 8-week-old puppy in. No, that's not what I mean. But just take your bathtub, put your puppy in that bathtub with a couple of toys, sit beside the bathtub and play with them in that bathtub for 2 minutes. It's going to get them used to that bathtub. It's going to let them know that it's not a scary place to be. And then the final thing is just get them used to sounds. So already an 8-week-old puppy is going through a lot of changes, right? They went to a new home, everything is new. This is the perfect time to be introducing new sounds so that it doesn't seem out of the norm in your house. So one of those things would be running water. You don't want your dog to be scared of running water. It's going to help you when it comes to bath time. The next thing is, if you do have a breed that needs to be shaved, or even, an Australian Shepherd, my dog, we shave the pads of their feet. And so getting them used to the sound of a clipper is really great. So a clipper sounds like this. And you just want to turn it on, maybe for 10 seconds here and there. You don't have to get it close to your puppy. immediately, but just let them know that that sound is not a scary sound. So those are all of the things to do in that 8-week range. You got 7 days to do that, and you really don't need to do a lot of time on each one. Just take 2 minutes out of your day on Monday to play with the pads of the feet and stuff. Do another 2 minutes introducing them to sounds on Tuesday. Just do it like that. Do small increments of time. And it's going to help a lot with the transition to the things that we're going to be doing in week 9. All right, so they're 9 weeks of age now. They've been home for the whole first week. They're going into their 2nd week of being in your house. These are the things that you want to do during that week. So here you've got, you still want to handle the feet, gums, and ears. You still want to introduce them to new sounds, but the things you're going to be introducing this week is nail clipping and brushing. So you want to continue with the bathtub and, of course, reward them for good behavior. So basically, it's exactly the same concept. You are handling their feet. Make sure that you're pulling the hairs in between the feet, not hard, but just, making sure that they understand that you're allowed to go in between their toes. And just continue to introduce them to the sound of running water, the sound of the clipper blades running, and just keeping them going with being, used to getting touched in all of those specific places. The things that you want to introduce this week are nail clipping and brushing. So when I talk about brushing, I don't mean hard brushing. I literally mean just taking a bristle brush or a comb and gently running it over the fur. And if your puppy gets really frustrated with you within 10 seconds, stop, give them a break, start again maybe, later on in the evening. But you want to build up to, 2 minutes or so of them being willing to be brushed. The other thing is you do want to start nail clipping. Now, puppies as young as 8 weeks of age already have long nails, and so you want to do the same thing that you do when you handle their feet, flip them over on their back, and be really patient with them. Don't do more than, a 2-minute time span nail clipping. If you don't get all of the nails at once, it's not a big deal, but just flip them over on their back, on your lap, get your nail clippers out, and start with the front nails. Let them sniff the nail clipper, let them feel comfortable, and eventually you're going to be able to work up to getting all of those nails done within that 2nd week. So that's week number 2. We're going to move on to week number 3 at home. All right, so in the 3rd week at home, your puppy is about 10 weeks old, and there's a couple of things that we're going to be introducing that are brand new again. You're going to want to continue with all of the handling of the feet and the ears and the gums. You also want to continue with new sounds. Keep on introducing them to the clipper, the sound of the clipper. Keep on introducing them to the sound of water. So here we are with the 3rd week at home. So we've got feet, ears, and gums. Continue with new sounds, continue with the bathtub, but what we're going to be doing this week is introducing the toothbrush. You still want to do some gentle combing and brushing of the fur, but the main thing is the toothbrush. So now that your puppy has been getting used to things for a couple of weeks, you want to start upping the amount of time that you're doing things. You don't want to be in the kind of 2-minute mark anymore. You want to start upping it to between 3 to 5 minutes. It's just, continually upping the amount of time that you're doing those things is going to help a lot. The main thing that you're going to want to do this week is get them used to brushing. So this is the whole reason why the first couple of weeks you're handling their gums, because you're going to introduce the toothbrush now. So you can have a couple of different kinds of toothbrushes. So we've got the, general toothbrush, and you've also got the finger brush. You can use either one. But you just want to get your puppy used to having this introduced into their mouth. It helps having a toothpaste that tastes really good. And don't do it for very long. You don't even have to do it for, 3 to 5 minutes. Toothbrushing is very quick. You really only want to do as much as they will allow you for that first little while. The whole key to getting a puppy used to grooming and being such a good dog during grooming is literally making every single experience that you can positive. I don't know why I'm keeping this on my finger, but you just want to keep it all positive. You don't want any negative experience at all. As much positivity as possible is key when they're puppies. Week number 4, we've got, of course, continuing with feet, ears, and gums. Begin introducing water in the bathtub. This is something new. Also, the concept of ear cleaning is going to be something new. And then we keep brushing the coat and brushing the teeth. So, like you just saw in this week, the 2 new things that are going to happen is they're going to get wet. And they're also going to be introduced to ear cleaning. So these are 2 new things. That's the reason why you've been introducing them to the tub for all this time, is because now we're going to try and make the smooth transition from transferring from a dry tub to transferring to a tub with a little bit of water in it. It's important to not necessarily go for 5 minutes with the water. Remember, this is something new, so every time you introduce something new, it jumps back down to the 1 to 2 minute range. Keep everything positive. You also want to introduce them to having cotton wads going into their ears. Maybe for the first half of the week, you just introduce them to cotton wads and just start rubbing their ears with the cotton wads. And then the other half of the week, you might want to start using a little bit of water on those cotton wads so that they're used to having something wet going into their ears. And eventually at the end of the week, you should be able to clean their ears with no hassle whatsoever. So, we're at the end of the 4th week at home, and you have played with their feet. They're getting super used to you touching their feet and their ears and their gums. They're starting to get used to having their teeth brushed a little bit. They're pretty much used to the brush on their coat, and they're used to a lot of the sounds that are involved with grooming, the clipper blade going on, as well as the water running in the bathtub. The thing that you want to start thinking about is what you want to do with your dog when it comes to grooming. For me, as an Australian Shepherd owner, I don't have to do a lot of clipping with my dog. So I'm not that worried about extensive use of clippers. But if you are an owner of a poodle or of a Shih Tzu or whatever breed that may require extensive clipping, you want to start really working with them on getting used to the clipper touching their face, touching their body. You don't have to put the clipper directly on their body. Take the back of the clipper, turn it on, and literally just touch their head with it. Touch the back of their body with it. You want them to get used to the vibrations that are going to be happening while you run this clipper over their body. If you do want to use a grooming table, I would suggest you get them used to it very early on. You also, if you want to blow dry your dog, need to get them used to that sound very early on. Yeah, so that basically covers everything that I wanted to cover. There's going to be a couple of things that you may use later on. For example, with Shepherd breeds or any breed that sheds a lot, a furminator is a great thing to use. You're probably not going to have to start using it though until around 4 to 6 months of age, because the coat isn't really growing in all that much at that point of time. And if you're brushing every day, you're not really going to need it until then. but you just want to keep certain things in mind that you might want to start using later on in life. And just keep in mind the idea of gradually introducing things and then slowly over time, over the course of maybe a month, working that amount of time up. That's the key. Come sit here nicely with me. Come sit. Good girl. Oh, hi. Yes. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you, honey. If you liked this video, you can always give this video a thumbs up. You can always comment down below as well if you have certain tips for dog owners on grooming. I may not have covered absolutely everything, and that's perfectly fine. If you guys can just let me know in the comments down below, other people can look that up. And yeah, I hope you guys have a really great day. We're gonna go and enjoy the sun, aren't we? Good girl. And yeah, have a good rest of your week. Bye. Here we go. Good girl. Oh, I love you. Mwah.